If you want to cut through the noise, then becoming an industry authority is a sure way to do it. With people out there spending so much money on marketing and advertising, very often it's not viable to compete with them on budget. With that in mind, in this series, I'm joined by Erin Haskell, who is the daughter of Dan Holohan. And Dan joined us on episode 60 of Toolbox Talks. However, Dan, they're from a company called heatinghelp.com, and they're the number one authority on the planet on the topic of heating. The reason I've asked her to come on the show is because they've done such a great job at solidifying their position as an expert and as an industry authority. And I know there's so much value in what they teach in helping you guys do that as well within your own industries, regardless of what it is. So it's broken down into 3 episodes. You'll be listening to either the first one, finding the right niche, the second one, which is creating engaging content, or the third one, which is attracting an audience. So enjoy the series. And if you do enjoy it, please leave us some comments in the show notes. And likewise, share it with a friend who you think would like it. Thank you.
Giving tradies and contractors around the globe the tools to run a modern business. You're listening to Toolbox Talks from the Site Shed. Now here's your host, Matt Jones.
Hello listeners and welcome back to Toolbox Talks on the Site Shed. My name is Matt Jones and you are joining us on the Becoming an Industry Authority series, which I'm very excited about. Back in episode 60, we had Dan Holohan come on the show, and Dan was the founder of heatinghelp.com out of the US, and he's probably fair to say the world's leading authority on heating solutions. If you missed that episode, please go back and check it out. However, over the years, his business has taken a bit of a change in the sense that his daughter Erin has come on board, and she's pretty much transformed it into an online empire, really. So when I asked Dan at the end of the show who we'd like to see on the our show, he said he'd like to see his daughter Erin, and I couldn't agree more because obviously we have a very big spin on the digital space, and I'm always interested to hear cool marketing techniques, and I'm really interested to hear what Erin has done in the space of creating that industry authority figure with heatinghelp.com. So just like to say welcome to the microphone, Erin. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And Erin, you are located in New York, is that right?
No, I'm actually right outside the Washington, D.C. area in Maryland.
Oh, right. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. And it's so just for the listeners out there, it's 7 o'clock in the morning here in Sydney, and it's 5 p.m. in Maryland. So although the time zones are different, we did manage to make it work eventually. So Erin, now that we've talked, this topic's going to be becoming an industry authority, and it'd be pretty fair to say that when it comes to heating, you guys certainly are an industry authority. Can you just tell listeners that aren't familiar a little bit about heatinghelp.com, what it is, what you do, and maybe how it came about?
Yes, we are the number one online resource for heating answers. We're located at heatinghelp.com, and we have a lot of people come on the site for resources, for questions about older heating systems or newer heating systems. We have a very active discussion forum. We had around 1.9 million users last year. And they come on for a conversation and mentorship, and it's really a fantastic place if you're looking to learn about heating.
And I have been on the newsletter now for a couple of months, and I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
It's so well done. And I have to be honest, I have actually taken quite a few pointers from your newsletters and implemented some of the things that I've been ripping you off. Okay, that's basically.
Oh, no problem. Happy to hear. That means we're doing it right. So.
No, it's a really good newsletter, and I would say anyone that
form of flattery is imitation, or imitation is the biggest form of flattery.
For any listeners out there, anyway, that do have an interest in heating, so I suppose primarily it would be a lot of the plumbers, HVAC. Definitely go and check out heatinghelp.com, and there'll be links to it in the show notes after the show as well. Go jump on the newsletter. The newsletter is fantastic. It's really informative, and it's not all just talk about heaters and heating and stuff. There's a lot of industry specific news in there also. So, Erin, in this series, we're going to be talking about, I suppose, 3 main topics. We're going to be talking about finding the right niche. We're going to be talking about creating engaging content, and we're going to be talking about attracting the right audience and attracting an audience. I mean, I know I know a lot of our guys out there, they do have a, I won't say it's a problem, but they have the battle where, they're in highly competitive industries, and, they do need to stand out from the noise in a way that isn't going to be directly related to dollar spend in marketing. Because we've got some colleagues and clients here in Sydney that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on AdWords advertising, and for them to compete for these smaller guys to compete in that arena, it's really not much of an option. So we find that by being able to help them niche themselves and create a bit of an authority in a certain area, it's a way they can kind of compete on the same plane. So I suppose you guys have done a really good job of this. What I would like to know, I suppose, is maybe if there's any way that we can maybe put something, communicate little tricks and traits that can help people potentially stand out in a competitive market space.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think with that, we may even just dive straight into the first episode. I suppose as a whole, I'm hoping what people are going to get out of this series is they're going to learn how they can stand out against their competitors, how to get a bit of attention in a busy marketplace, how to position yourself as an expert, how to attract new customers, how to build positive professional profile, I should say, and how to build a database, because we're pretty big on, I suppose, helping guys create that asset into their company. And it's something that you guys have obviously done extremely well. And then, of course, I suppose behind all of that is the underlying tone of, well, you've got to be creating regular and good content that people can engage with. So all of these stuff you seem to be ticking the boxes with. So we might just dive straight in to episode 1, which is finding the right niche. Okay, so Aaron, let's just talk a little bit about what a niche is for any of the listeners that may not be overly familiar. I know one of the problems, or one of the objections I get often when I'm trying to help people niche themselves is, well, I don't want to say that I only do the one thing, because then I'll lose out on everything else. And my experience with that is that it's very rarely, if ever, the case. I mean, we've found, if you can become the expert in one area, you'll also open doors into a lot of others. What's your experience with that?
I'd agree with what you're saying. I think that in the heating industry, some people will say they're a steam expert or an expert in a certain area, and then customers might not understand that they do other things. So if you do branch out into other areas, I'd say be very specific about the services that you do provide, because your current customers might not even know that you provide certain things. But I do agree with you that if you're considered an expert in one area, you may very well be able to, branch out into other areas. Just make sure you remain focused, and don't stray too far.
I know even if you use plumbing as an example. So when I used to work in plumbing, we used to specialize a lot in pipe relining, but being a specialist in that certain area, it certainly opened a lot of doors in the space of, well, once you're sort of in the door with that inquiry, then you can ask questions around hot water, or you can ask questions around anything plumbing related, because you've already done the hardest part of getting your foot in the door. So it sort of gives you an opportunity to promote other things once you're in there. But we found that it's very hard to compete from a marketing point of view when you're trying to be everything to everyone. Whereas if you can niche yourself and you can really position yourself in one certain area, it makes it a lot easier to get your foot in the door. Then you can go and promote other things that you do.
Yes, I agree. And, you look at big companies. I'm thinking about Apple in general. We had a really popular article in our newsletter recently that makes me think of this. And it was about why Apple didn't buy the Nest thermostat. And Apple's really focused and strategic, and they have a very clear path to anything they do. And they want it they want to be able to monetize it. And they just weren't seeing that with the Nest, because the Nest wasn't going to help them sell iPhones or iPads. But they realized that acquiring companies like Beats or Authentech, fingerprint technology would. So they made those acquisitions. So when you're thinking about branching out into other areas, just make sure that they support your core mission of your company. Good
point. So you guys certainly have established yourselves in the niche of heating. Did it start smaller than that, and did it grow into all heating, or was it always just all heating?
Really, the story of Heating Help is the story of my dad and his career path. Mm-hmm. So he started out, he wanted to be a writer, but he didn't know of what and where. He just knew he had a knack for it. And he started working for a manufacturer's rep with my grandfather in New York. And my grandpa always used to say, kid, this is the best business to be in because people are always going to need heat, especially in the winter. So he went to work. He agreed. So he got to work with my grandfather. And a lot of the old timers would stop by and tell stories about old systems they'd worked on. And there are a ton of those in New York, and different tricks and tips they had. And that really piqued my dad's interest because he was just curious about everything about these old systems and troubleshooting behind them. And so he went to the library and he found out, how are these things installed, and not just how they work, but why are things in different parts of the mechanical room. And so then people realized that he had this knowledge. So he'd go on jobs and troubleshoot, and he'd be able to figure out things. And a lot of the problems that these systems had were caused by things that people did to them over the years. So here, what my dad likes to call the dead men, the people who initially installed these systems, years ago, put them in right, and then everything we've did to them now is causing all these issues. So he just kind of took it back in time and said, okay, this is why this is laid out a certain way. And then he'd figure out what was going wrong. So he preserved this knowledge that was being lost, the knowledge from these older books and the knowledge from these old timers telling him different tips and tricks they had. And so he started teaching, and he's written about 20 books on these topics. And then back when the internet was very young, he created this site called heatinghelp.com. And he filled it with resources and started a discussion forum, and then just started this dialogue that's continued throughout the years. And we've been through about 4 redesigns of Heating Help, and each time the technology just gets better and better. But each time we've been able to save this massive content from these initial conversations and bring it over. So the site now has tens of thousands of conversations going on, and it's a great resource because you can look back and learn from people who were on the site years ago. I was actually talking to a friend, and he said he Googled a question he had about heating, and he actually found a comment from his dad on Heating Help to answer his question. He said, I could have just called my dad, but here I'm learning on the site. And I said to him, it's good because other people are learning from your dad too.
Yeah. So when you say there's all these conversations, is that in the forum?
Yes, it's in the discussion forum. If you go to heatinghelp.com and click on the wall, you can see it there. My dad likes to say we had the wall before Facebook had it. That's his big thing.
Take that, Zuckerberg. Amazing. So I suppose the question that I have in relation to that forum, and it's not really relevant to this episode, but how do you mediate so many conversations?
We read a lot. We just read the threads. We have RSS feeds that can help us keep track of them. Mm-hmm. And it's just every day we go on there, we chat, we read. We also have a great community. If something's going on, like if there's a duplicate post, they'll email us and let us know. So it's great. It's very organic. So it moves.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, I suppose what I really want to talk about here, A lot of your followers, I suppose, would it be fair to say they're plumbers and HVAC specialists?
Yes and no. We have a lot of plumbers and HVAC specialists. We also have a lot of homeowners on there as well.
Oh, okay.
Engineers, just very smart people
Yeah.
with great feedback and advice and opinions for these questions that come up.
And are a lot of these people professionals? I mean, are they sort of would they call themselves heating experts themselves?
Yes, but not everyone has a heating company.
Right.
Some people just do it out of pure love and hobby.
Like your dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. It's such a funny. I mean, when you typically think of hobbies, don't you? I mean, especially me. When I think of stuff outdoors or activities, I wouldn't have thought that researching heating would have been as big as it is. But I'm clearly wrong because it's massive.
You never know.
Exactly right. So let's talk about the how now. When I want to, if I'm out there and I'm considering niching myself in an industry, what should I be looking for? How do I know where to niche myself?
So I'd say you could start by looking for problems that you can solve.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking, don't look at it from your point of view. Think as the customer would think. And then look internally and see what you're good at. Make sure you're good at it. I mean, growing up, I always followed the niche thing and say I'm trying out for the soccer team and I'm thinking, oh, goalie, no one wants to do that. I'll be sure to make the team if I go that route. And I did make the team by doing the niche, being the goalie, but a concussion and several broken fingers later, I realized that it was just not a good idea. So I'd say, you figure out you're good at it by asking your customers what they love about working with you and why they stick around.
That's probably a pretty good metaphor for business in general, isn't it?
Yes, that's why I used it. Yeah.
Expect to get concussed and a few broken fingers every now and then.
Be careful. But you also want to look at your competitors. What are they doing that you could do better? What don't they offer that you could offer?
Yeah. And so once I establish a niche, how would I go about marketing myself towards that niche?
I'd say just start sharing your knowledge and helping people.
Mm-hmm.
We have a blog. You have a podcast. I mean, there's all these different avenues that you can use. It's technology. I saw recently there's a whole YouTube channel with this dad who teaches people how to fix their daughter's hair because he found a need for that. So just start, and it's huge because he's, there. I didn't know there. I mean, my husband doesn't know how to fix my daughter's hair. It's a big struggle for him. I was traveling for business. I said, "Is everything going to be okay?" And he said, "The only thing I'm worried about is fixing her hair." I said, "I think she'll be okay." So, so that speaks to a need. Thinking it from the customer's perspective, there's a need out there you might not know.
Yeah.
I didn't know about. They were fine. But I'd say just, once you know your niche inside and out, share that knowledge, submit articles to trade magazines, offer to teach classes, contact the local library, teach some classes for homeowners. And then, if you're really ambitious, maybe write a book. There are so many great tools out there for authors now. We publish a lot of our books through Amazon CreateSpace. So what you do with them is you upload your document and then they handle all the fulfillment for you. So it's sold through Amazon and they print it and they fulfill it. So you don't have that overhead. We used to have to order books in bulk just to get the bulk discount and then sell them. Whereas now as a small author, you can just, launch your project and then wait for the checks to come in.
Effectively like a partnership with Amazon, kind of? Is that how it works?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. So the books we have a store on our site, but it's powered by Amazon. So your books will be sold through Amazon. But, on the bright side, that's you have the power of that, marketing for Amazon. You have, their whole site behind you. Your book is going to appear on their site.
Yeah, of course. Okay, and so now that we've, once you establish a niche, how do we build authority in it? I mean, you just sort of touched on it then. And well, what I got out of that last, I suppose, statement from you there is that everything you basically said is all about adding value. You're always just giving things away, and you're just building rapport that way. I mean, that has always been my experience. Is that kind of how you would sum that up?
Yes, and I'd say just to build and add upon that, we've got a guy named Dan Foley. He's a good friend of ours. He runs a company out of Virginia called Foley Mechanical, and he does this so well. I don't even know if he realized, he's very smart. He probably realizes he's doing this, but what he'll do is after he does an HVAC job, he'll post photos on our forum of his work, and everyone on the site will praise his work because it's just beautiful. He's done my mechanical room. I want to just put a table down there and eat my meals down there. It's like an artwork. It's very organized and beautiful. But when people come on our site and say, "Hey, this guy is being praised by his peers, he must be the best of the best."
Okay.
So that's one way. My dad was also telling me a story about this guy that he knew. He had one truck, but he wanted people to think he was a big deal company. So he painted a different number on each side of the truck. So if you're in front of him, you'll see truck 47 or, in the back 52. So everyone thought he had this fleet, but really it was just this one truck rolling around. So
fake it before you make it.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Okay, I don't know if I'd overly encourage that.
No
strategy, but
some people are doing.
Interesting. So I suppose as someone who's established themselves in a niche and they've started to build a bit of authority in a given area, I mean, what are some things that they can expect to see as a change, to their business as a result of, I suppose, establishing that footprint?
I think things will grow. You'll get more calls. You might even get some calls from the local press. I have someone that I know who was recently interviewed about this heat wave that we're having and how that affects air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was interviewed when there was a steam explosion in New York City, and then the Times and the New Yorker followed. So they're just I think once you have yourself established as an authority, it just kind of builds on itself. Whereas people are reaching out to you for advice.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can expect to be contacted for certain things relating to whatever it is you specialize in, whether that's media, whether that's potential clientele, strategic partnerships. It could be any of them. And then I suppose, of course, the obvious one is, well, financially, there's a very good chance that will work for you financially. I mean, that's the idea at the end of the day. It's to create lifestyle.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I've always found as well, and I'm sure you'll relate to this as being the expert in something. And I've got lots of clients that are in very similar boats, and lots of colleagues that do the same thing. When you're considered the expert in a given area, you can charge more.
Yes.
So it's like if you go to a medical specialist. You always pay more for a specialist than you do for your general GP because they're specialists. It's no different in any other industry. If you're the expert at something, then typically you can charge more because you've got that status.
Yeah, I mean, when my dad first started out, he was charging a very low fee hourly to do this troubleshooting, and he had a client call him in and say, "Listen, you're not charging enough." Because the people who hired me are asking why I don't have the best guy.
Right.
Because this is not enough. You're not charging enough. So he said, okay, I'll raise my rate.
What an interesting social experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of ways, I suppose, that we can go about finding the right niche or, I suppose, positioning ourselves in niche from a media point of view. Is there any one thing? I mean, obviously your blog and your forum has been the pinnacle for your business. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
The The forum is the second most popular area on our website. The first is the homepage.
And did it start as? Did it start when your dad started it up? Was it the forum that was really the powerhouse?
Slowly but surely, I think. As the web grew and as more people came onto the web, we had that discussion. And then since the forum is changing rapidly, Google is naturally attracted to that because it's fresh content all the time.
Okay.
So that brings in search traffic.
Okay, interesting. And I know when I spoke to your father, he mentioned there was one book that really, really got him started. And I think it was Al who lent him the money for it. Was that right? Do I remember that correctly? Al Levy?
Yes. God bless Al.
Yeah. It's funny. I just got an email from him just before I jumped on the phone to you, which I'll have to answer when I get off. What was that book?
It's called The Lost Art of Steam Heating.
The Lost Art of Steam Heating. Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'll put a link to that as well in the show notes. Or actually, because there's a full page, isn't there, for the Amazon books for your dads?
Yes.
Yeah. All right,
I can send you a link to that.
Awesome. All right, cool. Look, so have we missed anything there? I suppose in finding the right niche.
No, I think we've covered it.
Okay, so I think my takeaways from that would be, don't be afraid to knuckle down on one specific area of your business. Like if you're a plumber, it's okay to specialize in hot water. It's okay to specialize in block drains. It's okay to specialize in heating. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get work from all those other areas. It just means that it's going to make it a lot easier for you to market yourself as a leader, as a thought leader, as an expert in that specific area. And from that point, it will give you opportunity to promote the other things that you do. And I think that's something that a lot of people are afraid of doing within their business, but it is something that can really add value. So that would be my advice to all the listeners. That's my main takeaway. Is there anything there for anything you wanted to add or not?
No, I think you've summed it up perfectly.
All right, fantastic. Well, look, we're going to come back in a following episode, and we're going to be talking about how to create engaging content. Now, I suppose to be fair, this is a little bit of a selfish question because it's something that I'm very much interested in, but it's something that I'm out there actually trying to teach a lot of our customers now as well. So we'll look forward to that one. So thank you, Erin, for joining us on that episode. And thank you to the listeners for sharing your earbuds with us once again. We will be back with a following episode shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Toolbox Talks. If you're liking what you hear, then you can head across to thesiteshed.com where you can join our community by signing up to our Toolbox Talks. You'll get sent a weekly notification, which is basically a highlight of everything that we've spoken about during that week, along with any other industry news that may be relevant or specific to the trades. If you're enjoying the show, you can head across to iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, where you can leave us a review. That would be fantastic, and all the reviews get read out in the show. Likewise, if you have any friends or colleagues that you think would benefit from this show and the episodes that we create, then please go ahead and share it with them.